A spot on Hollywood stardom is hard to get and even harder to keep. This is why it is so surprising to see some talented actors who did their best to reach the top ruin their own careers in unexpected ways. In today's video, you will learn what happened to Jennifer Grey and why you've never seen her after Dirty Dancing again, how Jeffrey Jones was involved in something so inappropriate that it landed him in court, and why Megan Fox decided to compare the Transformers director to Hitler. Some of these Hollywood A-listers ruined it all within just seconds, and some made a series of wrong decisions that eventually landed them in a lot of trouble. Subscribe to Rumour Juice, get comfortable, and see which actors ruined their careers with their own hands. Jennifer Grey. The old schoolers probably remember Grey as one of the most memorable actresses of the 80s, who gained recognition after such films as Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Dirty Dancing. The latter even scored her a Golden Globe nomination. Jennifer was in her 20s and had a promising career ahead. Hardly could she imagine that one minor detail would ruin it all for her. In the early 90s, Grey underwent 2 rhinoplasty procedures which resulted in a major change to her appearance. She became, well, just ordinary. The actress blamed the nose job for losing her career, as she herself explained. "I went in the operating room a celebrity and came out anonymous. It was like being in a witness protection program or being invisible." It was a really heartbreaking experience for Grey, who went from a Hollywood A-lister to once famous actress just overnight. Gary Busey. He was an acclaimed actor in the 70s and 80s and even got an Oscar nomination for his role in the Buddy Holly story. However, in December 1988, something horrible happened. The actor was involved in a motorcycle crash. While this might happen literally to anyone, there was one special circumstance that made consequences even worse for Busey. He was not wearing a helmet. Unfortunately, that was not accidental. Busey had been an outspoken advocate against motorcycle helmets for years. His skull was fractured and he suffered permanent brain damage. It took neurosurgeons hours to remove blood clots from his brain. Explaining his out-of-body experience, Busey disclosed how he passed away after the surgery and saw angels that surrounded him, making him feel safe and protected. According to the actor, a light told him that he could either join them or return to his body and continue his destiny.
That make you religious?
Oh, maybe spiritual.
After the accident, he also struggled with drug addiction. Weirdly, he has still remained stubborn regarding his anti-helmet position. Mel Gibson. Gibson proved that it was an easy task to turn from one of the most loved men in Hollywood into one of the most hated celebrities worldwide. The Mad Max star and a successful director went off the rails in the mid-2000s. First, during a DUI arrest, Gibson verbally assaulted police officers using anti-Semitic and sexist language, which included the statement, quote, "Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world." He soon offered something that felt like a heartfelt apology. 4 years later, as his career was beginning to slightly recover, he was caught on audio tape threatening his then-girlfriend with rape and other physical abuse, and he dropped the N-word again. His talent agency immediately dropped him. Gibson's rants seemed to be unforgettable and unforgivable, and his career totally unrestorable.
Do you think that the public will perceive you any differently after all that's been in the news about you?
I've moved on. I guess you haven't.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Mel. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Asshole.
However, somewhere around 2017, Gibson already appeared at the Oscars as a nominee for Best Director. Some think that Gibson could be forgiven by now, and some believe the 64-year-old should be banned from Hollywood forever. Elizabeth Berkley. In 1995, Berkley was on the top of the showbiz world after gaining huge acclaim, having garnered the role of Jessie in Saved by the Bell. Berkley, in her early 20s, was destined to have a successful career ahead, but one wrong decision ruined it all for the young actress. Her first feature film became Showgirls, containing a lot of nudity and sex scenes, with Berkley playing a stripper who works her way to becoming a Las Vegas showgirl. The film received awful reviews. After the premiere, the actress was essentially blacklisted and dropped by her agency. Even though in the past several years Showgirls has gained a cult following, for Berkley, her first feature film became the last one in which she played a memorable role. Charlie Sheen. Sheen has been quite complicated both in his professional and his private life. In 2011, Two and a Half Men went on hiatus when Sheen voluntarily checked into rehab.
So anyway, Charlie, I'm still not clear on what it is you would like me to help you with. Your anger issues, your sexual issues, drinking?
No, that's all cool.
Shortly after that, the actor was fired from the sitcom after a public meltdown that included calling the show creator Chuck Lorre, quote, a miserable douchebag and talentless sack of, well, you got the ending. Along the way, Sheen noticeably lost weight, missed rehearsals, flubbed his lines, and kept making inflammatory comments. His show co-star, John Cryer, when asked about his experience working with Sheen, said it was crazy. It was way more craziness than I really was hoping for, honestly. It was tough for Cryer to see Charlie, who had been sober and in control of his life when they started the show, then going off the rails.
I wish him the best, and I hope he decides that he wants to be sober again. That would be awesome, because he was awesome for 6 years of sobriety. But that doesn't seem the way he's going of late. So.
Megan Fox. Fox was part of the first 2 successful Transformers that gave her a big break. She was immediately thrust into the spotlight and hailed as one of the most beautiful women in the world. But then she had that one awful interview that landed her in a lot of trouble, when she compared director Michael Bay to notorious and infamous dictators like Napoleon and Hitler. The 23-year-old said, "He's like Napoleon, and he wants to create this insane, infamous madman reputation. He wants to be like Hitler on his sets, and he is." She continued, saying that although he was rough on set, she enjoyed his, quote, hopelessly awkward personality. He has no social skills at all, and it's endearing to watch him. The interview spread like wildfire, and soon Fox was replaced in Transformers by model Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. Then Hollywood cast Fox in several potential blockbusters, but her subsequent movies were box office failures. Thus, she has been relatively absent from the public eye for a decade, until recently, when the mother of 3 starred in a new music video with Machine Gun Kelly. It has also turned out the two are dating. Jeffrey Jones. Jones's performance as Edward R. Rooney in the film Ferris Bueller's Day Off made him a cultural icon. The bumbling dean of students who was desperate to catch the truant in the act instantly brought Jones USA-wide recognition. Soon he had another memorable part in the horror comedy film Beetlejuice. But his career took a dramatic turn in 2002, when the actor was arrested for possession of child pornography and accused of soliciting a 14-year-old boy to pose for inappropriate photographs. Jones was sentenced to 5 years of probation and was ordered to register as a sex offender. Since then, he has appeared in a couple of productions, but you have probably heard nothing about them. So as about Jeffrey Jones. Michael Richards. Before ruining his reputation, Michael Richards won 3 Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Actor in a Comedy Series for his role of Cosmo Kramer on Seinfeld. Richards was enjoying a prosperous career both in film and television. After Seinfeld ended, he returned to his stand-up comedy roots, and that's when the whole thing happened. During one of his shows, some guests were really noisy, in reaction to which Richards burst into a racist rant which included really severe insults, including use of the N-word and reference to lynching.
That wasn't called for. What wasn't called for? It's not called for you to get on my ass, you cheat mother.
The recording was made public. Following the incident, Richards retired from stand-up and made a rather awkward apology on Letterman's show.
I'm not a racist. That's what's so insane about this. And yet, it's said. It comes through. It fires out of me.
But his career never got back on track. Shia LaBeouf. Shia has always been a super talented guy. He started his career as a Disney star and pretty soon made it big in Hollywood with his roles in Transformers and Indiana Jones. LaBeouf has also become notoriously famous for being self-destructive and, so to say, aggressive. The actor completely damaged his public image by numerous fights, arrests, and public meltdowns. At one point, the actor was sentenced to 10 weeks of court-ordered rehab, where he said he learned that his violent behavior was stemming from a traumatizing incident in his childhood. Shia revealed that when he was 9, he overheard his mother being raped and felt helpless to stop it. In terms of his career, it seems like fans give Shia a second chance and he is gradually restoring his reputation and trying to stay out of trouble. He said in one of his recent interviews, I've never had my feet as firmly planted in the floor as I do now. I've never felt more human. I am very aware of how lucky I am. I am on my 9th life. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Stay with us to not miss other exciting videos about your favorite celebrities.